Hey people. Hey peeps. It's a little dark outside. Hey Oberly. What's up? I'm gonna try to get to some light. Tribe. Yeah, there's a little confusion on who was on scope tonight. You did? Through like a telescope or something? How'd you see it? Or do you just like see the speck in the sky? Oh, nice. I guess I should look. I'm outside. Oh, that's Jupiter? Good call, Oberly. Good call. Way to call that out on the family. Hey, thanks for joining. So I was trying to get to where there's more light. How's it going, guys? So, what's your relationship? It is. I love it. What's your relationship with yourself? What's your relationship with your friends, your family? You know, I figured that'd be a good thing to talk about tonight because I think it's all misconstrued. Or maybe that's not a word, I don't know. But I like to make up words. I don't speak human very well. So it's funny because we have consistent relationships. Well, you shouldn't overly. See, that's your opinion and that's your judgment of yourself that creates the relationship with yourself and other people, right? So when you have this, hey girl, when you have this worry about not liking yourself or judgments on yourself, then you can present those in the relationships that you have, not just like your loving, intimate relationships, but your family and your friend, you know, right? And so it's like it becomes those fears that we hold on to that actually hold us back, and it's just that perception of who we are, right? So who are we really in those instances, right? So let's use a childhood example, right? So when you're a kid and you're having some tough times, I know, and this is why I want to talk about this tonight, right? So like you're a kid, right? And you have some bad things happening to you at school and you're feeling fearful to go there, and you go home and you cry to your mom and you say, I don't want to do it, right? And they love you and hopefully they love you and have compassion for this situation, right? Hey, thanks for joining. Yeah, like when I got bullied, right? You're having a tough situation, right? And no matter what happens, even though the people love you around you, they still make you go back to school. They still make you go back to the pain, right? And so you feel like you have no choice but to live and be in this pain. So as we do that, it becomes like the reality, right? Like, oh, okay, so I better not cry about it. I better not bitch. I better not like do anything that is going to just make it worse. So I'm just going to be quiet, right? So we spend a lot of time, sorry, I'm like walking around out here, toughen up, right? I'm going to take my jacket off. Sorry, guys. So it's like we're supposed to just toughen up and be strong. But like, what does that even mean? And like, why are we supposed to toughen up and be strong, right? Like, why can't we be vulnerable? And why can't we say, dude, I'm upset right now, right? But we're supposed to just be strong. Who says that we are strong? Hey, how's it going? Who says that we're strong? I mean, and who says that it's not strong to be vulnerable, right? And so what we do is we build up this like box or wall around us that says, oh, okay, be strong, even though you feel sad inside. So you go through and you're just like, okay, I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be tough through all of this. And then you take that out on like the next friendship or relationship that comes up into your life. Yeah, me too. And you start to put those walls up around the people that are loving you in your life, right? And you put up that like, oh, I'm not going to tell them certain things because it's just going to hurt me or they're going to judge me in some way, right? And then, oh my God, yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, yeah, we got to be tough. Yeah, I mean, I'm tough all the time, and I think sometimes being tough is the vulnerability. She did. Well, I mean, it's like it's situational, and it depends on what that is that you're holding on to. Sometimes being tough is the wall that you put up, and so even though you're feeling sad inside, you're tough. No, it's not okay to bully bullies, because you know what's happening with the bully? The bully's actually just hurting inside. They're feeling pain. They're feeling sad about something, and they don't know how to react, right? They don't know what to do. So 9 times out of 10, when a bully is coming at you and they're like, your mama said blah, 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 or I don't like your shirt, or you're ugly, or your nose is big, whatever it is that the bully is trying to say to you, 9 times out of 10, it's because they are at home and there's something that is hurting them. They're they don't have a good home life. Like maybe one of their parents is an alcoholic, or they're not home home very often, or they're beat up or bullied in some way or another. Right? And so they come to school and they act tough and strong because that's how they have to act at home, right? So it's like they're bullying you the way they're being bullied at home, and that's the only way they know how to react. And so really they're just sad. They want to be loved, they don't know how, right? So they're just acting the only way that the people that love them treat them, right? And so 9 times out of 10 when a bully is bullying, we either bully them back or we choose to be bullied or be hurt by them, right? See, we should. And so it's like, we don't want to bully them. We don't want to feel bad. Bullies are being bullied by someone. Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And so it's like to notice that when you're being bullied by someone, that it's actually, it's actually them that is going through the pain. And we're not supposed to take on that pain. Like we don't have to take on that pain for ours and bully them back or feel hurt by it. Like, oh, your nose is too big? Okay, well, thank you for that judgment. I don't know why you have the choice to say whether my nose is big or not. It's like girls wear pink, boys wear blue. Who said? Who said? It's your perception of that's what you should wear or what you shouldn't wear, right? So, no, they can't hurt. They can if you choose to, but they really can't hurt you unless you choose for it to hurt you. You don't have to wear pink. I'm just saying that's just the reality that people have made it. Okay. Don't wear pink if you're a dude, because that's feminine. I don't know, but that's just because someone said that and made a rule, and now we all feel that way. But now there's a feeling behind what that color means. It's just a really funny thing. So it's like, it can be the same way in relationships, right? That's okay. Oh, see, that's really cool that you did that. I kind of wish my parents would have done that for me. But like, how do we deal with that? Like, how does your kid deal with that? Now that they don't go to school and now they're like fearful to like talk to kids and deal with that, right? Like, how crappy is that you feel like you can't be in a community of people because they're just going to treat you like crap? Like, that's just so unfair, And so it's like, how do we come across ways to where we can fix this and start to teach our kids and our adults and everyone in our community? We should be a community, but we should be talking about how to do that, right? So it's like, how do we do that? And it's learning to take that pause. And I talk about it in so many different ways. And hey, thanks for joining. There's many different ways to pause yourself. See, of course she does. And it's not fair that she can't go because of some reason or another. And so it's like, we want to go to art class. We want to be able to do these things, right? So it's like creating that pause, even in our children, to see, okay, wait a minute, that person that's bullying you, that person that's pointing that finger, if you take on their pain for yours, then you're really just taking on that pain and you're creating more pain where there doesn't need to be pain, right? I'm going to take my dog off the leash. I'm in the park right now. I didn't know I was doing this. Hey. Okay. So my dog, she's going to run around the park for a second. So like I was saying, like, say you're in a relationship, boy, girl, whatever, right? We can use different examples. But say your man is coming home and he's like, oh yeah, I'm having a great day, but he's really not saying anything to you, right? And he's kind of just like being like disconnected. Dude, we're going to talk more about that. They're feeling like disconnected, but happy, right? And you're just feeling a little left out, but you don't really say anything. So it kind of causes space between you. But really, like, what if they're actually not happy and they're not saying something because they don't want to cause drama. They don't want to like make something out of nothing. Hey, thanks for joining. But there really is something more underlying the fact that they're like, oh yeah, I'm great, even though I'm not going to explain anything. So maybe something went down at work, Hey Tyler, thanks for joining. We're talking about how to deal and cope with different types of relationships with yourself and other people. Thanks for joining. We're the family. So it's like, even though someone sometimes is, we're all about worldwide tribalism. Yeah, we're the tribe. Yeah. And so we just talk about how to uplift everybody and how to like make changes on this world. And so, it's like being able to notice that energetically, like, oh, I'm having a feeling right now that my husband or my boyfriend is being nice, but they're not really saying anything. So I'm feeling like there's a space. Wait a minute, I'm having a feeling. And so that way you can kind of be, empathetic for what your partner is going through. Hey, I know that you said you had you were good, you had a good day, but like, are you okay? Like, did you have a good day? Is there something else going on? I just kind of want to be here and recognize that for you, right? So then you were actually really there for your partner and you're able to dig in, because sometimes we're not able to open that up, you know, but if we can have that power to steer away and be like, oh, I'm not depleted. They're not taking something away from me. They're not keeping something from me. They're actually feeling sad inside, right? Or maybe when someone is mean, like your man or your girlfriend comes home and she's like, like having a bad day. She's all in it. And you're like, man, why are you being rude to me? Why are you being mad? You know, and you're like, and now you are in a fight with your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, right? Because you just took on their pain. Yeah, I mean, no, and it's like sometimes you're not being mean, but you're just having a hard day, right? And so it comes off mean to your spouse for whatever reason, and they take it on, why are you being mean to me? They make it into a fight. Hey, thanks for joining. We're talking about relationships and with yourself and with others and how to deal with that, right? So it's like if you have that in you that you're just like, okay, I'm angry now. Now that they came home angry, now you just fed their anger, right? Instead of being like, I'm sorry, like, okay, so you're going through that. Should I walk away? Maybe ask them what they need in that moment, you know? Maybe try to dig in there a little bit, give them a hug or, you know, back off, give them the space. You know, I think a lot of times we try to take on those emotions for ourselves. Yeah. We all get scared. I get scared too. Like I take it on for myself. My brain starts taking me like, oh, he's doing this. He's going there. He's ignoring me. Why did he turn his phone off? He's with someone else. You know, like we get these crazy thoughts and then it's like, oh, I fell asleep, but I took a 3-hour nap. And you just spent those 3 hours freaking out over nothing, right? Yeah, don't do that. You know, so it's like I think we let our thoughts and emotions get involved with past things that have happened to us that maybe aren't involved with the relationship that we're in now. You know, and that comes to your own relationship with yourself. So those are fears that you're holding on to, that you're afraid to be hurt in some way or the other, right? So where'd you get that from, right? Hey, thanks for joining, you guys. So where do we get this pain that we're holding on to that we project into the relationships that we have in our lives, like people we work with, our loving relationships, our family, our friends, like how do we interject those fears that we have into our friends, you know? And so you can come off rude or angered, or you get frustrated with certain things that people do because of something that you're holding on to. Yeah, work relationships too. So it's like maybe someone's frustrating at work or they take a long time, like working with the fax machine. They're a very tedious worker and you're not. Let's just use that as an example, right? And you're just like, man, I'm so annoyed by them. Like they just, you know, they take forever. They're so tedious. Like I'm just like snap, 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 you know? And so you're getting frustrated. It's like, why are you getting frustrated? Is it because of them or is it because of you? And so it's like, then you're like, can you hurry up? Like, what are you doing over there? Why are you taking so long? Right? And now you have like this scuffle with your, work relationship when really it was just because that's the way their brain works. Like they're just a little bit more tedious than you are. So they were frustrating your moment, you know? And so it's like taking that moment to step back and say, hey, you know, I'm having this moment right now and I need to slow down and let it be okay that they're not messing anything up. It's just a little bit of a time change, right? So what is that relationship that you have with yourself before you create the relationship with others? So that's kind of the gist of what hey, thanks for joining. Where are you from? We are, Abby. Oh, we're having dog play. I'm in the park. Abby, come here. Come on. Sorry. Illinois is awesome. Thanks for joining. We're the family. We talk about all kinds of things, and we want to create the worldwide tribalism. So we're trying to help people move forward on how to do that. And a second ago, there was someone we were just talking about with kids at school and being bullied, right? And the fact that no one even really wants to talk about it in the classrooms, like they don't want to talk about this issue because it's like, oh, what, I'm going to offend one parent or another, right? And it's like everyone gets on the defensive about what's really going on. And what's really going on is that someone's feeling pain, right? Someone's feeling hurt. So there's something energetically going on that everybody's feeling pain, even the one that's bullying, right? And so the one that's being bullied, the parents are over here going, I have no choice but to put my kid in homeschool and I have to deal with this whole situation. Now my kid, hey, thanks for joining. Yeah, it's a big problem, right? So it's like, now I have to deal with this whole thing and now my kid's afraid to communicate, afraid to be out in society, doesn't know how to react. And then the kid that's bullying everybody gets to go to school and it's not a problem for that parent. I don't think that that's right, because the parent that's dealing with the bully has a whole other problem on their hand. There's something going on at home or at school to the bully that is creating sadness and pain inside of them, right? So as the school not noticing that and being a part of that, it's a really sad thing. And so I think creating awareness, inner consciousness, inner beauty, hold on to it and they don't say anything. Exactly. I did that. I was horribly bullied as a child. I was told many different horrible things about myself over the years, and I really held it in. And I've been digging recently on why I did that, you know, because my parents are really awesome. Like my parents, they always cared. They even took time at night when we were eating dinner to ask us questions about what it is that we did throughout the day. Like, how was the day? Did we have a good day? Did we have a bad day? They asked us all these kinds of questions, right? But at this point, right, it's even worse. Like, at this point, as you know, as I got older and when they would ask us all these questions, I think I was already doing this, this pain cycle, right? I was already in it. So at this point, I'm doing it. Hold on. The family's texting me. Okay. So at this point I had already hid myself, right? So when I was a kid, like really, really younger, I came home and I cried and I told my parents what was going on and I was upset, and I had a real Southern accent, you see, when I came to California. So it was real different. So the kids, they thought I was weird and they thought my accent was real unnormal. And I didn't know how to act about that, right? I didn't know how to say it was okay that I had an accent, right? And so I came home and I cried because of the way I spoke. It wasn't good enough, right? And so my parents just felt horrible about this, you know, because they didn't really feel like there was much that they could do. And, you know, they really didn't have a choice but to send me back to school at the time, right? My parents couldn't homeschool me. There was no choice. So they had to send me back to school, and they continue to send me back to school with all sorts of different things. Hey, thanks for joining. All sorts of different things that were happening to me. So my accent was bad. I was dirty. I was ugly. I was, you know, weird in some way. Why did I ask questions like this? Like, I don't know. Like, people are just picking me apart for all sorts of things. And I think it's like after a while, you come home and cry so many times. Oh, thank you. You come home and cry so many times that there's really no point after a while when you still have to go to school, right? They still send you back into the fire. So it's like, okay, I can come home and I can cry to them, but what's going to happen, right? What's the point? It's just wasting my tears, wasting my energy, and no matter what, I still got to go back. So it's like, why come home and cry anymore, right? So as you start to get older, I mean, that started when I was like 6 years old, and then like as the years go by, it's like you cry, you bitch, you complain, whatever, and then nothing happens. So you just build up this thing where you're just like, okay, I am going to not complain. I'm not going to cry anymore. And when they ask, I'm just going to be like, no, it's good. You know, just because I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to cry. I don't want to make them feel bad either. You know? And so it's like you start to get all these like reasons why you're not doing it. So why do we want to do that to ourselves? Yeah, putting up a wall. Yeah, and it's like you put up this wall around, I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna be, I'm just gonna be strong because that's the only thing that's gonna get me through. That's what's gonna get me through class. Hey, thanks for joining. So I'm just gonna go to school. I'm gonna be tough. Things are gonna happen. I might feel sad, but there's no point because I'm still gonna have to go back to school. Hey, thanks for joining. You know, so it's that wall that you carry with you. Like if I complain, if I say things weird, hey, thanks for joining. Hey. So like if I keep doing that, then it's just going to make things worse. So I'm just going to stay strong and be good. And as things continue to come into your life, you just continue to not say anything, right? And so it's like a big thing. So as your parents do start to ask, as you get older, they were like, even my parents now, they were like, why? Why did you not say something? And I'm like sitting here going, why didn't I say something? Like, what was my problem? You know, why didn't I say something? Why didn't I do something about this problem, right? Oh, yeah? You know, and so it's like, at this point, I don't feel bullied and I don't feel upset about that, right? Because I've really worked on that for myself. But I think a lot of kids and a lot of people out there, even as adults, are still feeling judged. right? So it's like, as you're feeling judged, even as you get older, then you can't even feel good about yourself. And hey, what up? You can't feel good about yourself in whatever relationship you put yourself in, because you are still feeling like it's going to hurt or it's not going to be valued if you show yourself. If you show that vulnerable side, if you say, hey, I'm upset, I'm pissed off, I'm hurt, blah, 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 nobody's going to do anything. So it's like, what are you really going to do about it? You just hold up your wall and you do nothing. And then you start to push your friends away for whatever reason, because they're like, well, you lied to me, or you didn't say anything. It's like, well, I didn't really lie. I just didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to cause that problem, right? So anyways, what we do in perception is we create that relationship that we have with ourselves and with other people, right? So if you have that perception about yourself that you're not going to be good enough if you're vulnerable, so then you hold back, and then hey, thanks for meeting you. The person that you're with, your friend or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whoever it is, they're feeling like you're lying, you're holding back from them, and you're not being authentic. And so eventually they go away too. And then you're just validating the fact that you aren't good enough, or that the love that you bring in isn't going to satisfy you, or it's just going to push you away in some way, right? And so then it's like this constant validation that you're not good enough. And really, you're just inviting that to yourself because you don't know how to feel yourself, because you feel like it's going to hurt you. But what if it's not going to hurt you anymore? Like, what if it's okay? Oh my God, totally. But sometimes it's okay to be whiny, you know? And why is it someone judging you for being whiny? What is whiny anyways? Sometimes I want to be whiny, and sometimes it's okay for me to be whiny and frustrated and upset. Like, let me be upset. Let me cry. Let me yell. Let me pick something apart, right? Like, let that be okay. Like, why is it not okay for us to have these feelings and emotions? Like, I think that's part of the judgment that I'm talking about. That people are like, oh, you're being whiny, you're being this or that. It's like, why? Why am I being that? Maybe I am being that. I am. Own it. Hey, Wes, thanks for joining. Like, let's own the fact that I'm being whiny today. Let's own the fact that I'm being excited today. Like, what is it that I'm feeling, and let it be okay. And I think that's part of where the bullying comes across, right? Hey, thanks for joining. We're the family. We're talking about relationships with ourselves and other people. Right? And so it's like allowing that judgment of yourself and of others to just be okay, you know? And so it's like, okay, since we have been talking about bullying, let's talk about that, right? So if someone's bullying you and they're like, oh, you're ugly, or your nose is big, or you're fat, or you're skinny, or whatever, right? And there's usually two different reactions that people take. Just checking my dog. Okay, so two different reactions. One reaction is going to be like, okay, I'm going to bully the bully. Your mom? Well, your mom, right? So you're just going to bully. So the bullied now becomes the bully. Hey, thanks for joining. We're talking about relationships with yourself and others, right? So in a bully situation, the bully is going to either become the bully or be bullied. So then you can choose to be like, why is my nose ugly? Why am I fat? Like, you start to take that on, then they just start pounding you even more, right? So 9 times out of 10, it's one of the two choices that we automatically choose in society. For whatever reason, human beings just choose to either be battered or bullied. It's one or the other. But what if there is a third way that we could take it? Because that was what I was talking about before. There's pain behind the bully, right? So if you see the pain, and there's pain, and someone's like, your mama said blah, blah, blah. Hey, thanks for joining. And you're like, okay, but I don't believe that about my mom. I don't believe that my nose is big, and if my nose is big, I don't care. Right? So this is the emotion that you can have. Take that pause in that minute that person's bullying you. Do I feel this way about myself, about what the bully is saying to myself? Do I feel that way? Because 9 times out of 10, you don't really feel that way about yourself. Hey, thanks for joining, right? So it's like, if you don't feel that way about yourself, then why are you going to react to it? Why are you going to react and say, don't call me fat, or you're fat? Right? Why are we going to be mean to someone or choose to be battered? Right? We don't have to have one or the other. You can choose to be like, thank you for your opinion. And, if you think my nose is big, great. Like, awesome. It is big. Isn't it beautiful? Thanks for saying that. It's the positive reinforcement. And it's also just letting it be okay. If someone says your nose is big, thank you. Maybe my nose is big. Appreciate that. I'm fat? Awesome. I like my fat. Like, it's like, even if they're just feeling sad inside, that they need to say something to you like that to bring you down. Sometimes people, like, misery feeds pain, right? So it's like pain feeds misery. So it's like people want you to be in their pain with them, and like, it's like it makes them feel better or something, But it doesn't have to. And if in that moment you can kind of say to that person, hey, thanks for that. Why what? Sorry, I wasn't sure where I was at when you said why. But it's like you can choose to be like, thank you for saying that, but I don't feel that way. Is there a reason why you feel like you need to interject something that is personal about me? Is there something going on with you that I can help you with right now? You can kind of turn that around onto them to see where their pain is. Sometimes that bully can actually become your best friend, Sorry, I didn't understand that why question. If you wanted to like re-ask it, I was just on my thought process and I didn't realize what you were asking why for. But I will totally answer that question. So anyways, it's kind of just like a turn of perception. Like, what is the perception of what's going on right now? And if we can take that time to pause within our feelings and emotions, wait a minute, I'm feeling something right now. I'm feeling a little bit stressed out, or I'm feeling powerless. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling frustrated. Why am I feeling frustrated? Why does this situation present itself as frustrating or sad to me? Where do I get that from? What other situations have happened in my life that represent just like this one that is making me feel that way? So where does that come from, right? And sometimes we forget to ask them, hey, thanks for joining. So then we react to, we react to what we've dealt with in the past instead of what's actually going on right now. Because a lot of times when someone is presenting itself, it's not that you actually feel that way about that person or that situation. It's that you're in this cycle, that you've dealt with this type of situation in the same way so many times. It's the only way you know how to deal with it. But there's so many different perceptions of how you can deal with a situation, right? So if we're dealing with all these different situations and there's all these different perceptions that we can have, then any situation you go into, you can choose to react, you can choose to be pissed off and hurt, or you can choose to sit back and be like, you know what? I don't want to feel that way ever. So what is actually going on right now that makes me feel that way? Hey, thanks for joining. Because so many times when people are frustrated or mean or sad or coming at you in some sort of way, it's just because they're hurting inside. And so if we can show compassion for that and create the love around it, then we don't ever have to fight or feel pissed off or grieful or frustrated, right? Because we can show that love and compassion for what that other person is going on with them instead of taking it on for our own. And 9 times out of 10, most people just want to be nice. They want to be loved. They want to be heard and seen. Is that not what you guys all want? Because I know that's what I want. And so most of the time when someone is angry and spitting some sort of negative energy at you, it's because they feel sad. So really, we just need to show love and compassion and openness for others. And we want to be so quick in society. We're so quick to respond, so quick to say things and feel things and react to what we're feeling, that later on, 9 times out of 10, we walk away and we say, I didn't really feel that way. I didn't really want to say what I just said. I want to say it in a different way. And how do I do that? I wish I could go back, right? But if we just stopped for just a second and said, hey, to that person, yeah, love is everything. And what if we just said, hey, just 1 second, I'm feeling something right now and I don't want to respond in the wrong way. I'd rather respond in the best and loving way possible. So I'm just going to feel what I'm feeling right now and respond in the best way. And it's just creating that little pause, like a trick, right? So we have a feeling or a thought first, and then we have an action and a reaction. 9 times out of 10, it's like a throw up, right? Thought, feeling, action, reaction. Blech. Right? It doesn't have to be, we can actually create a new perception on that. So it's like we have a feeling or a thought, and then we can pause. We can stop for a second. I'm having a thought right now. What is this thought? It's making me feel this. Do I really want to react in anger? Hey, thanks for joining. Or do I want to react with something that is more helpful for my own energy and for someone else? Hey, thanks for joining. Right? So it's like, what energy am I going to give this person? Hey, when it's presented to me, because you can create anger and frustration in your life, or you can sit back and try to be calm about it. It's the perception you want to give it. And in giving yourself that pause, that time to just stop. Hey, what up? San Diego. Welcome to the family. We're talking about relationships with yourself and others. And when you create that pause and that stop for yourself, oh, hey, thanks for joining the family. Check us out, family.link. We're trying to create the worldwide tribalism. Hey, Alex, thanks for joining. What up? So many people. We're talking about relationships with yourself and others, right? And the perception of your knowledge, right? And what you feel and how we project our fears and our scared little child inside with ourselves and situations with work and relationships with our family all the time just because of our sadness on the inside. And really, if we can see a new perception about the sadness that people have around us and the pain that they're going through, then we can react, hey, to our significant others and our friends and family on such a better scale, because we can have compassion for what they're going through. So what do you guys feel about, yes, thank you for saying that. Yes, there's hella sadness, and so many people are walking around. That's something we've kind of been doing, like social interaction lately. Like, we walk around and see people, and it's funny because like there's like people taking a walk for work, right? And they're just like taking a break, and they're like, ugh, he said this and she said that, I'm feeling weird, and if I go home, my roommate, blah blah blah, right? They're just constantly talking shit, hey, thanks for joining, about everything in their life, right? Right, they don't, and then it's like we see this couple sitting at lunch, and the girl's trying to talk to him, and he's just looking at his phone, and she's getting frustrated, so she grabs her phone, and she's in her phone, now she's good, but it looks like he's being a dick, but really he just doesn't know how to communicate with her. He has fear inside, and they're both just sitting there in fear. How sad is that? So no one's really being a dick or an asshole to one or the other. Hey, thanks for joining. It's just that they're both like, I don't know how to communicate, so I'm just going to look at my phone. Yeah, he's weak, she's weak, like, she could say something and be like, hey, what's going on? Like, why does she put up with that? It's like they're both weak, and it's like everyone's feeling weak and sad. And like, how do we pump that up and create the building in people to feel more confident, to be like, hey, are you on your phone? Like, it's okay. You can say whatever you need to. What are you going through right now? Like, kind of pick apart at people, because really that's what they want. They want to be heard, right? But it's like we're so scared to ask because we're not really sure what they're going to say, or it might take away from us for some reason or another. But even if it did, even if it wasn't what you wanted to hear, maybe it's what you needed to hear, because we need to allow our own flow, and allow everyone around us to flow with the way they need to. And so sometimes just letting that person open up is going to help them to love you even more, because they're going to love themselves even more, because they can let that fear and that pain out. So anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about tonight, because I think it's really important that it's one of the biggest things we deal with the relationship with ourselves. It is hard to trust people anymore, and it's unfair, because it's really that they don't trust themselves. They don't have love for themselves, and they have pain inside, right? But it's like, why don't we call them out on that, right? You can't trust people, so call them out on that. Call them out. What is it that you feel like you need to say that? What is your purpose? What do you really feel inside? These are the questions that people really want to be asked, right? So it's like, dig in and ask, hey, how's it going? So it's like, dig in and ask what those questions are. When someone's feeling that way, you feel like you can't trust them, ask them, call them out. Why do you feel that way? Why are you holding back? Maybe they're going to give you attitude, but find it funny, because these people need to be told what is really going on inside. They want to be heard. They don't want to be an asshole, and they don't want to screw you over either. But they feel like they have no choice, right? And we're scared to just call people out, because why? Why? Because of their reaction. They might hurt us. They might get upset. They might try to bully us back. Who cares? That's their emotion. And if you don't have a reaction and an emotion to what it is that they do when they react to what you say, when you ask what their purpose is and why they feel that way, they're not going to be able to do anything. They're not going to be able to yell at you. They can bully you all you want. But if you aren't penetrated by it, you choose to feel, right? So if you're not affected, eventually they're going to open up, or they're going to walk away. If they don't want to fix the pain inside, then they're going to walk away. Let them be in their pain. But if not, most people want to feel loved. They want to feel heard. So if you're calling them out and they're getting a chance to actually say what their pain is, then they're going to say something. They might even cry. But that's better, because at least they let it go, And so I think part of the fear is in ourselves. Yeah, you can't trust somebody, but you can't trust yourself to be honest about what you really need or what you want to say to that person. It's all of our problems. We all have fear. And so if we create the love around everybody, catch eyes with someone. Why don't you, this is part of it. Go out of your comfort zone, people. Walk down the street and smile at someone. Say hi. Stop them, actually. Hey, what's up? What's your purpose? Who are you? What do you do? Why do you do that? Does that make you happy? It doesn't make you happy, then why are you doing it? I don't know. Choose to buy the coffee for the person in line behind you. Hey, thanks for joining. Do some social norms. Dance down the street. You know, do something that trips people up a little bit and pull yourself out of your comfort zone and see what it feels like. Is it really going to hurt you? Only if you choose to let it. So, thank you all for joining the family for our nightly chat. It's 9 o'clock, and we're the family.link. We're on Facebook, and we are here every night at 9, and we are starting to do more time, so we love the fact that you guys log on. We are creating the worldwide tribalism, and we just, family.link. Thank you guys so much for joining. We'll see you tomorrow night at 9, and we would love for you to continue following the family. You guys have a great night. Bye.